If you're thinking of moving to South Surrey or White Rock, get ready for a bit of a reality check. Most people watching this channel aren't 100% sure what homes actually cost here, and when they finally arrive, there's often some serious sticker shock. I've seen it time and time again. You come in with a number in your head thinking you've done your research only to find out that that number doesn't go nearly as far as you had hoped. And it makes sense. We're in the suburbs, sure, but this isn't your average suburb. This is one of the most desirable places to live in the entire greater Vancouver area. Great schools, safe communities, close to the border, beaches, and parks. And the price tag reflects that. Now, keep in mind, Vancouver is already the most expensive city in Canada and often ranks in the top 5 most unaffordable housing markets in the entire world. And South Surrey and White Rock are right in that ripple effect. You're not buying in Vancouver proper, of course, but you're absolutely paying Vancouver adjacent prices. So if you're planning a move here or even just curious, this video is going to be crucial. I'm breaking down the real estate price ladder, what you get at each price point, what's realistic for your budget, and what to expect before you ever book a showing. Stick around to the end because I'm going to show you the most expensive sale in the entire area over the last 90 days, one that has a price tag that will absolutely blow your mind. If that sounds good, let's get into it.
You only get one chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right.
Hey, worth mentioning, my name's Darren, a real estate professional serving the White Rock, Surrey, and surrounding areas since 2007, helping hundreds and hundreds of people just like you, including many who we first met right here on this YouTube channel. If you're thinking about making a move, feel free to reach out. You're going to find a link in the description below this video where you can connect with me and my team for zero pressure, solid local advice. Okay, now before we dive into the numbers, let's talk about why this can feel like such a challenge, especially if you're coming from out of town. It's not just the sticker shock, it's that the market here is always moving. What was true 6 months ago may already be outdated. Interest rates, demand, inventory, government policy, always happening in British Columbia. It all shifts and it affects what you get for your money in real time. That's why this video is going to serve you as a rough guide based on what things look like today at the time of filming. Prices and availability will change, so you're going to want to make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We post regular updates on the market, local neighborhoods, and what's actually going on here so you can stay ahead of the curve. And hey, if you're looking for something specific, check the chapters in the video description. You can, of course, skip ahead to the type of home that fits your budget or plans, whether you're skipping the lower end or don't want to think about luxury, at least just not yet. Now, in this video, we're covering every major category of real estate for buyers. There's not anything for renters in this video, but it's just for buyers and related to South Surrey and White Rock. We're starting from the bottom of the property ladder and climbing all the way to the top. So when I say that, I mean the least expensive styles and types of properties all the way to the most expensive and luxurious. So that means manufactured homes, condos, townhomes, and detached homes. Again, right from entry level to ultra luxury. You'll get a clear look at what exists in this market, what to expect in terms of price, and how far your money is actually going to go. So let's go ahead and kick it off right now. Starting at the very base of the property ladder is manufactured homes. Now, I gotta be honest here, this is a category that a lot of people overlook, but for the right buyer, it can actually be a smart move. The biggest upside of these is you get space for an entry-level price. You can find manufactured homes starting around $100,000, $120,000, often over 700 square feet, and they only go up from there. Some are full double-wide layouts with solid living space, and when they're well kept or updated, they can feel surprisingly roomy. Manufactured homes are interesting because you get many of the perks of a detached home, things like your own driveway, your own backyard, no shared walls, and some of the shared amenities that you might find in strata properties like pools or clubhouses. But there are certainly trade-offs. One of the biggest, of course, is the type of ownership and sometimes the neighbors, especially in parks with a lot of investor-owned units. So here's what's going on with prices. And really, you've got two options in this category. Option number one is where you rent the land, but you own the home. In this setup, you own the home, but you rent the land underneath, usually through a pad rental, which in the South Surrey and White Rock neighborhood tends to start around $1,200 a month and go up from there. It's sort of like combining ownership with a long-term lease. You don't get that land appreciation and you're subject to park rules. Now, financing on these can be ultra tricky. So you're going to want to make sure if you're looking for something like this, you speak with your lender well in advance to see if they can even finance this sort of property. But still, if you're on a tight budget and want to own something, this is one of the lowest cost entry points into South Surrey if you can manage the limitations. Now, option number two is where you actually own both the home and the land. And this is where things get a little more interesting. Most of these communities are stratified, meaning that you own the land underneath the home, similar to owning a townhome. These properties are way easier to finance and offer way more long-term security. You're going to find 2-bed and 1-bath units here starting in the price range of in around $500,000 and larger homes around 1,300 square feet or so in the $550,000 range. Now, most of these complexes are located right along King George Boulevard, kind of between 20th Avenue and 24th Avenue. And here's a pro tip. I've seen people buy, renovate, and flip these types of properties for a pretty hefty profit. The entry cost is lower, but you can still add some serious value with the right upgrades. And if you've got some vision and patience, you're going to do well. Bottom line here though, manufactured homes, they're not for everyone, but they can be a solid choice or option, especially for downsizers or first-time buyers or anyone trying to stay in this area without being able to commit to some of the seven-figure numbers, price tags, or mortgages that you need in other types of properties. Okay, now let's move a step up and talk about condos. Unlike in downtown Vancouver, micro condos have not taken over here yet anyways. So the good news is even entry-level units tend to offer decent space. That said, condos in South Surrey and White Rock come in every shape, size, age, and as you'd imagine, condition. At the lower end, you'll mostly be looking at older buildings from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, most in the 70s and 80s age groups. Many of these are age-restricted buildings, so you have to be 55 years old or older, depending on the building, and it can be a little hit and miss. So you're going to want to pay attention to those MLS listings and see what they say. Now, some of these can be beautifully maintained, but others will not so much. And I'm talking about the complex here, and this is really where having a local realtor who knows these buildings makes a huge difference. Someone who's walked through them, knows the reputation, and isn't afraid to dig into those strata minutes for hidden red flags. So let's talk pricing on these. 1-bedroom units, older units, around 600 square feet or so, well, they tend to start in the low 400,000s, while newer 1-beds, no, they typically start around $500,000. 2-bedroom units, older buildings from the 80s, they start around $475,000, typically close to about 1,000 square feet or so. And once you get into 1990s construction, you can expect around $550,000. And for anything built in the last 20 years, $600,000 plus is pretty much the starting line. So condos definitely can be a great way to enter the market. Just make sure that you know what you're walking into. Now, let's get into townhomes, one of the most popular segments for both growing families and downsizers. South Surrey and White Rock don't have a lot of older townhome complexes. Most have been built in the last 10 to 15 years, generally speaking, which means newer layouts, better finishes, and fewer surprises. 2 bedrooms, usually around $700,000 or so, and they're typically a tandem style garage layout where that's one car parked right behind the other one. And they're typically about 1,300 square feet or so. You've seen these before. These are your 3-level parking on the lowest level, main floor living on the middle level, and your bedrooms upstairs. 3-bedroom units, same kind of style, same kind of layout. They start around 750,000 and go up from there. Now, you're going to see both tandem and side-by-side double garages here, and the homes, they start to get up to around about the 1,500 square feet or more mark. And of course, there's larger units as well. For a 4-bedroom or about 16 to 1,700 square foot unit, expect to pay around $900,000 or more. And that's for something built in the last 10 years that has a proper double garage. And if you're wondering, yes, some townhomes here are ultra high end, especially in this area. They rival detached homes. The most expensive townhome sale in the last 90 days, as an example, was $1.7 million. But we're not here to get into those details, so we're going to jump into next up, which is detached homes. And as you can imagine, this is where the market also really stretches. But before we jump into that, just a quick heads up. If you're buying a home anywhere in BC, you're going to want to make sure you grab a copy of our free PDF called 21 Grants and Rebates for Home Buyers. It's packed with federal, provincial, and niche programs with direct links and tips to help you save thousands. The link is below in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and get your copy right now. Okay, So let's talk detached homes. Here in South Surrey and White Rock, the range is absolutely massive, from modest 1980s homes all the way to oceanfront estates. Entry level pricing, you're looking at about $1.2 million. And for that, well, that gets you an older BC box from the 80s, around 1,800 to 2,000 square feet on a 7,000 square foot lot, or a rancher around 1,700 square feet. Now, of course, cheaper homes exist, but they're usually on busy roads or need major work. For homes built in the 1990s, for more of an average price point, you're looking at about $1.75 million. And that includes homes that are built in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s, around 2,200 to 2,800 square feet in size. These are also going to be in more developed, kind of premier like areas like Ocean Park, Elgin, or Crescent Heights. These are on solid, nice sized family lots. Then we start getting into the higher end stuff. So higher end in South Surrey and White Rock, well, and we're not talking luxury just yet. We're talking about like $2.5 million, 3,000 square foot to 4,500 square foot beautiful homes on 7,000 to 10,000 square foot lots with custom finishes, vaulted ceilings, high-end kitchens, and thoughtful layouts. Think places with like media rooms, spas, home offices, and entertainers' yards. And these are typically newer type properties. Now, if you're unfamiliar with South Surrey and White Rock, we also have ultra luxury here, some crazy, beautiful, ultra luxurious properties. And for those, you're starting to get into the really high price points, usually $5 million, and you can go way up from there. There's no ceiling here. As an example, the most expensive sale in South Surrey and White Rock in the last 90 days, it was a whopping $11.5 million. We're talking about a gated oceanfront estate on a 67,000 square foot bluff lot right on the water. Over 12,000 square feet of living space with panoramic views of the Pacific, Mount Baker, and the pier. It had Italian marble fireplaces, a full marble feature wall, radiant marble flooring, the Wolt and Sub-Zero appliances. It had an elevator, a media room, a gym, a sauna, a steam shower, a smart home tech, a legal suite. It had an infinity pool overlooking Semiahmoo Bay with an outdoor shower and more. It was a true masterpiece. So I'm digressing a little bit, but whether you're buying your first home or your forever home, there's something here for almost everyone if you know where to look. So there you have it, the full breakdown of what the property ladder looks like in South Surrey and White Rock. From manufactured homes to luxury estates, now you've got a much more clear idea of what to expect and what fits your budget. If this video gave you some clarity, hit that like button and subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss out on what's next for all the videos we're doing on BC real estate or the area of South Surrey and White Rock. And it's worth mentioning, if you're planning a move or just starting to explore, feel free to reach out and me and my team would be happy to help. But don't run away just yet, because something coming up next, you're going to want to check out the best neighborhoods in South Surrey and White Rock, where I break down things like lifestyle, schools, and long-term value. And for something a little more fun, if the video coming up next isn't quite what you're looking for, check out a video that I did link below in the description of this video, or you can find it on the channel, where I take you inside the most expensive homes in the entire area and show you exactly where the rich and ultra wealthy live in South Surrey and White Rock. So you can go find that in the description, or I'll see you on the video coming up next about the best areas to live in South Surrey and White Rock.
You want to know where the best neighborhoods in South Surrey and White Rock are to live? Well, if that's the case, this is definitely the video for you.